want to thank you guys all for listening, and thank you for your donations last time that brought us this Rodecaster, and now we're looking for some new cameras to keep providing you guys with some content. Now do us a favor and hit that subscribe button.
Sit back, take a drink, take some notes, and enjoy the show, baby.
On today's Roadhouse podcast, the Bishop, Larry Gaiters, makes his long-awaited return to come here and bless you guys with some truth. Throughout this episode, I had my mind blown the whole time as it was the last time he was on. He puts together the pieces of China's pursuit of global domination and how everything links back to Kobe Bryant. And guys, what we say here or what was said is speak. But if you guys really want to get further knowledge on it, you guys literally need to sit down and research for yourself. If you're listening to this podcast right now, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Give us a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts. Also, if you guys would like to donate to the Roadhouse Podcast, you can donate to the show at patreon.com/
Let's get this show on the Roadhouse.
Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show.
/RoadhouzMedia. Roadhouse.
What's cooking, Roadhouse Mafia? Welcome to the Roadhouse Podcast, the most natural and unapologetic podcast in the world. I am your host, Roadhouse. Joining me today is a reoccurring guest. He's calling in from New York City. He's a truth seeker out here spreading knowledge on China's plan for global domination, spreading that knowledge to the ones who are now waking up. Bishop Larry Gaiters, everyone. Bishop, how are you? And I hope you had a good Easter.
I am so blessed, my friend. Great to have you guys back again. I'm so blessed to be back with you guys again. And I've had a blessed Easter, and probably the first time in my lifetime where I wasn't speaking anywhere on an Easter morning or wasn't a part of some church service. But, you know, God is in full control, and I'm really looking forward to unpacking this topic today, COVID-19, China's UNAM SANCTUM.
Yep, that's the topic. And I am, after seeing all this stuff going on with the COVID-19, and I've been seeing some of your posts on Dr. Fauci, man, that guy is sketch. There is something going on with him. I can't tell if he's a bad guy working on the inside or he just doesn't know what's going on himself. But I don't know. There's something. I got my skeptical hippo eyes on him for sure.
Yeah, if you look at the Twitter posting I put up a few nights ago of Dr. Fauci's lapel pin from the National Institute of Health there in Washington, D.C. with the letter Y in connection to the Kobe Bryant Nike system of the letter Y, which also means the Baphomet system. It is so scary, and I've gotten so many calls and emails from people from all over the world because of that one posting. So I'm excited tonight, man of God, and I cannot for some reason get away from the Kobe Bryant paradigm concerning COVID-19 because ever since his assassination on the 26th of January of 2020, there has been a rise of darkness, my friend, like I have never seen before. So COVID-19, China's UNAM SANCTUM. And as we break down the foundation concerning China, and what I'm about to say for the next hour and a half is nothing against the Chinese people, our Chinese brothers and sisters in Christ. I'm not.
Yeah, that's correct. We love the Chinese. We love the Chinese people.
We love the Chinese people, man of God. So this is nothing against China, nor the 1.4 billion citizens that are in the People's Republic of China. The target of my assignment today is the Chinese regime in Beijing. Okay, that back in 2013, they initiated a global policy called the Silk Road Belt and Road Initiative, which is a global political Trojan horse, my brother, to dominate the world, just like the Soviet Union did post-World War II. and some years later through the Warsaw Pact of 1955. So this 2013 Belt and Road Initiative instituted and initiated by the President of China, President Xi Jinping, who is also a 33rd and 1.5 degree Mason, who is a member of the Hong Kong Zetland Masonic Lodge 525, including his entire cabinet. So I'm going to come to that in the next 10 to 15 minutes. So COVID-19, China's UNAM sanctum. So this term here, China, comes from the Sanskrit word Sina, capital C-I-N-A, which means royal descent or one who dominates. So then, President Xi Jinping, the present president and leader of China, is a direct bloodline descendant of the Chu dynasty, capital C-H-U. Now, the Chu dynasty even exists today within the present-day Chinese mafia, not just the triads. The term triads means heaven, earth, and man. But the Chu dynasty, along with the Han dynasty, are interrelated through Luciferian bloodlines to the Li family, capital L, capital I. So then the Li family is one of the families today, along with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, along with George Soros and the Soros Management Fund, and through the Soros Society Foundation here in New York City, New York, are bankrolling this global pandemic. I'm going to come to that in the next few minutes. So COVID-19, China's UNAM sanctum. So this term China comes from the root word Chu, capital C-H-U, which means domination, which means expansion. So then the present day president of China, President Xi Jinping, is a direct descendant of the royal family of Chu, also through the bloodlines of the Han dynasty, which built, along with the Chu dynasty, the Great Wall in China, all right, which took them over 2,000 years to build, okay? And so then the Chu dynasty, the Han dynasty, including the Li dynasty, which controls the triads. So the history, or what I call the historicity of China, goes back at least 3,000 years, which covers 5 distinct dynasties and kingdoms. So somebody may say, well, Bishop, why do you need to go back to the history or the origins of China in order for us to understand COVID-19? You see, I'm a teacher, man of God. My style of teaching, when I'm on a radio broadcast or a podcast, and by the way, as a side note, I get anywhere from 80 to 125 invitations to appear on some radio broadcasts or podcasts all over the world. So, and I thank God for your podcast, for your radio broadcast. So,
and what is that? What is your station? So our listeners can come and check you out as well.
Absolutely. I am the host of the nationally syndicated Global Spiritual Revolution Radio through the Life Radio Network, 92.9 FM, 1460 AM. And you can also check us out nationally, internationally as well through the iHeart Radio Network in the iHeart Media Group here in New York City, New York. We average between 20 to 25 million listeners a week. And so we're on Life Radio, 92.9 FM, 1460 AM. Or just go to liferadionj.com/Gaiters. liferadionj.com/Gaiters. It's Gaiters. So then China, COVID-19, China's UNAM sanctum. So the foundation of the Chinese Republic began in 221 BC to 1912 AD, which is what we call the imperial time era of China, which brings us to what we call the Republic timeology of China from 1912 to 1949. And as a side note, brother, the Masonic order and every Masonic temple in China is not shut down. So there's been a lot of historians that's been teaching us for years that the Chinese Communist Party has disbanded the Masonic order. Nothing to be farther from the truth. So then COVID-19, China's UNAM SANCTUM. And so, like I said, from the onstart of tonight's broadcast, President Xi Jinping, the president of the People's Republic of China, his bloodline goes back 3,000 years to the Chu dynasty, to the Han dynasty, and to the present-day Li dynasty. And mind you, the Li dynasty is one of the 13 Illuminati families that control 99% of the world's wealth. And we're talking about the Rothschilds. We're talking about the Oppenheimers, the Warburgs, who created the U.S. Federal Reserve System back in...
The names that you're not supposed to know.
The names that we are not supposed to know. The Rockefellers, the John Jacob Astor dynasty, the Bilderbergers, all right, who are connected to the Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission, the Club of Rome, the Committee of 300, the Hidden Hand, the Tavistock Institute, including the Habsburg dynasty and the Sassoon dynasty. Now, it's interesting about the Sassoon dynasty. They are a Khazarian Zionist family out of India. And we're talking about going back to at least the mid to late 1700s. And they had a direct descendant, Vidal Sassoon, the billionaire hair care magnate, right? If you don't look good, we don't look good. So he is from that Sassoon blood dynasty, which had infiltrated China and created what we call the Opium Wars from 1839 to 1860. So then COVID-19, President Xi Jinping is a 33.5 degree Mason, including his entire staff. There are multiple billionaires, Chinese billionaires in China. One of them is a man by the name of Jack Ma. Jack Ma is also a member of the Hong Kong Zeppelin Masonic Lodge 525. Jack Ma had close ties to the late Kobe Bryant. I'm going to bring up Kobe in the next 10 to 15 minutes. Jack Ma is the founder of the Alibaba Group. Now, the Alibaba Group has given millions of dollars to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation for what? To create a global vaccination program, okay? Which these devils like Jack Ma, Bill Gates, Melinda Gates, George Soros, and as a side note, my brother, the Wuhan Institute of Virology, which is the epicenter of COVID-19, is solely owned by both Bill Gates and George Soros.
And no one ever wants to talk about this. No one ever wants to report it.
I don't understand. Every time I bring it up, they call me a racist on the left. I kid you not, look in media here. They call me a racist. So it is a Chinese virus. I'm sorry. This is nothing against the Chinese, our brothers and sisters in China. I am talking, and even our Chinese brothers and sisters, a lot of them are committing suicide in Wuhan because they're cut off from their finances. They're cut off from Medicare and Medicaid. They're cut off. And so a lot of them are committing suicide. So this demonic regime with Nephilim Illuminati blood going back 3,000 years to the Chu dynasty, the Han dynasty, and the Li dynasty today in connection with Jack Ma, all right, control the People's Republic of China. And so then we're going to examine China's connection to the Vatican, which goes back to 2018. And this is where we get the term UNAM SANCTUM. So then China now. So then the entire deep state of China, they're involved in this modern day takeover of not just the West, the Western Hemisphere, right? But the world. So back in 2013, the People's Republic of China, the government in Beijing, created a Silk Road Belt and Road Initiative. Now, the Silk Road Belt and Road Initiative, my brother, is a global plan where they would sign on at least a half of the world's nations in cooperation for trade and investment. But it's a Trojan horse. In other words, China wanted the European powers to be included in this Silk Road Belt and Road Initiative, where the European powers of the West, in the Western Hemisphere, would sign on to the Silk Road Belt and Road Initiative, which goes all the way back, my brother, to the time of Genghis Khan. And so also President Xi Jinping also comes from the bloodline of Genghis Khan. Yes, Genghis Khan's blood is inside of President Xi Jinping. So it goes back not just to Genghis Khan, but to the Chu dynasty. I'm not talking about the Chinese people. I am talking about that demonic regime that wants to take over the world. So this 2013 Belt and Road Initiative was an initiative put in by Beijing to give billions of dollars to struggling countries in the West, including many of those Asiatic countries of India and Vietnam and Malaysia and the Philippines. What China wants, they want these Western powers and these Asiatic powers to become Chinese satellite states, just like the Soviet Union through the Warsaw Pact 10 years after World War II in 1955. So if you look on the website on COVID-19, on Johns Hopkins University, they give a detailed real-time simulation of which countries have been infected with COVID-19. Again, when you go to that simulation map that shows those countries in red that have been infected by this pathogen.
Did you say it was the simulation, the Johns Hopkins University simulation?
Yes. And matter of fact, Johns Hopkins University, I'm glad that you brought that up. Mini Mike Bloomberg, who was running for the presidency of the United States of America, he has a department that is named after him, the Bloomberg School of Mathematics in the Sciences, dealing with physics, dealing with, get this, global simulation, okay? So this website here, the COVID-19 dashboard by the Center for Systems Science and Engineering, or CSSE, Johns Hopkins University. You notice the top 20 countries that are decimated with COVID-19 are the countries who have rejected the Silk Road Belt and Road Initiative.
It's payback.
It's payback. That's what it is. It's politics. See, people don't understand, man of God, that politics is war without blood. War is politics with blood. Okay? So when we understand the political side of this, and Julius Caesar had once declared, there is a tide in the affairs of men which, taken at the flood, leads on to fortune. In other words, President Xi Jinping is a lover of not only Roman history and the art of war in China, when it deals with Roman military history, okay, through Caesar Augustus, but also President Xi Jinping is a lover of the papacy system, though he is a communist and a socialist. And this is where we're getting to the topic at hand, COVID-19, China's UNAM SANCTUM. So those top 20 to 25 countries that are decimated with COVID-19, with Spain, France, Germany, the UK, Iran, Iraq, okay? Now, including Italy. Now, Italy was the first EU country that signed on to the Silk Road Belt and Road Initiative, but they backed out in December of last year. Now they're being hit with COVID-19. That is not by accident. Also, this first 20 to 25 countries that are being decimated with the coronavirus also has 5G networking in those countries. So in connection to these nations rejecting the Belt and Road Initiative, also these nations also had a high degree of 5G broadband networking, which destroys the immune system of the anatomy of every human being, which brings on these viruses.
Now, Bishop, the haters would say that is just a coincidence, but the way they correlate with each other, the areas that have the 5G or the 5G implemented, and along with the Silk Road, I mean, hey, do some math, put some things together. People just rely on other people to research for them, and then when you research,
yes, and you hit this right on the button, man. That's the problem. People are broke, busted, and disgusted. They're lazy. They don't want to research. When you go back through this history, where we're talking about 5G, 3G, 2G, 1G, going back to the 1918 Spanish flu epidemic, which killed over 50 million people around the world. And the Spanish flu took place. The problem was not the flu, man of God. The problem was some of these powers, okay? And this was near or after the end of World War I. A lot of these powers began to build radar systems, like the Western powers of the United States, Great Britain, okay? Even other countries like the Soviet Union or Russia, they were beginning to build radar global systems, which brought on the decimation, the destruction of human health, and began to break down the anatomy, the immune systems of the people, of nations. And so the problem was not the virus or the flu. The problem is with this, even today, 5G technology. And as we speak, there are people in England that are burning down 5G towers. Okay, look it up. So we're talking about COVID-19, China's UNAM SANCTUM, okay? So then we come up during the Opium Wars, okay, between 1839 to 1860, okay? The Opium Wars, which were financially backed by the Sassoon dynasty, okay, and which their future progenitor was a man by the name of Vidal Sassoon. He was a direct descendant, man of God, of the Sassoon family, who had almost destroyed China and thereby Chinese bloodlines because of opium, okay? Now China is returning the favor, okay? Now, back in not just 2013, when we're talking about the Belt and Road Initiative, okay, when we come up to 2018, and this is really going to blow the minds of your listeners, the Vatican, okay, through Pope Francis, had established a provisional agreement with the People's Republic of China, okay? Because for the past 70 years, China did not recognize this Babylonian system, the Roman Catholic Church. Yes, it is a Babylonian system. The Apostle St. Peter had nothing to do with the Vatican, okay? And so then the term Vatican comes from the Latin word Vaticanus, which means corruption or anal, okay? I won't even go down that road. So the term Vatican means destruction. It means disease, okay? Again, I'm not castigating my brothers and sisters who happen to be Catholic. My assignment is to connect COVID-19 with China and with the Vatican. So then Pope Francis had agreed to give over a lot of papacy power, now get this, to Beijing in 2018, what they call this provisional agreement, where China would get to choose bishops and cardinals for the Catholic Church. Wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. In other words, you're giving your power away to a Chinese, to a communist, socialist, Marxist, Leninist regime, that you have given them authority to choose bishops out of China. In other words, back in 2018, we have to understand, my brother, there are 3 cities, and 3 cities alone, that control this world. Washington, D.C., they control the global military industrial complex.
Isn't Washington, D.C., it's not even a, is it classified as an American city, or I'm pretty sure Washington, D.C. is its own entity?
Oh, my God. You hit a nerve with me, my friend. I was getting ready to come to that. Give me about 5 minutes, before you got me excited now as we're talking about COVID-19, China's UNAM, SANCTUM. And yes, we do have 2 constitutions, okay? One from the 4th of July, 1776, and the second one is from 1871, which has now forced the United States to become a corporation under the corporate and spiritual entity of Rome, the Vatican. I know
that's a mic drop.
Oh my God, the mic is dropping right now. So yes, we got 2 constitutions. Now, give me about 5 minutes. I'm going to come to that as we're talking about COVID-19. Oh, you got me excited. China's UNAM SANCTUM. So then, in 2013, we have the Silk Road Belt and Road Initiative. Okay. Now, in 2018, you have this so-called provisional agreement between Pope Francis of Rome versus the Chinese regime. That doesn't make any sense. Now, as we go back in history here, we're coming up to not just to Chinese dominance, but I'm going to come up to the fact that we have 3 cities upon the face of this earth who control the world. Washington, D.C. Now, Washington, D.C., according to a lot of historians, has its own constitution. Yes, let me say this again. Washington, D.C. Has its own constitution. Now, the first constitution in 1776, which came from the framers, okay? The founders of this great country, who were led by the mind of God to create the most powerful nation on earth, these United States of America. But the first constitution was not controlled by the Vatican. That's on the 4th of July in 1776. Now, it's interesting here in 1776 as we go forward to 1871. Boy, it gets spicy now. So then we go from 1776 to 1871. Now, during this time, Pope Pius, okay? Now, Pope Pius VII is the papacy king. He is the longest serving king or pope in Roman history. Write it down. So then Pope Pius in 1870 and 1871 instituted and forced the United States to create a second constitution. I kid you not. In other words,
wow,
making the United States of America a corporation that is legally constituted under the authority of not only of the financial authority of the City of London to this day, but the religious and the spiritual authority of the Vatican. Very few people know this, man of God. So as we're talking about COVID-19, this is China's UNAM SANCTUM here. So then, oh man, you're getting me excited now. So then the Bible tells us that my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. So Pope Pius IX, let me say this again. Pope Pius IX between 1870 to 1871 had forced the United States of America, okay, long after the assassination of President Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln was assassinated with Rothschild money, okay? I'm talking about right after the Civil War. So after the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln did not want the European powers of the Rothschilds with the spiritual backing of the Vatican to control the United States of America. So then President Abraham Lincoln created the Greenback. He wanted full control of the money supply in this country. That's what got him killed, and this is what got John F. Kennedy killed. Now, I don't know if you heard the news, my friend, a couple of weeks ago, President Donald J. Trump absorbed the Federal Reserve System and absorbed it into the U.S. Treasury Department, thereby giving the complete control of the Federal Reserve System to the President of the United States of America.
Oh yeah, I read that. People are pissed. People, there's the powers that be are not liking that too much.
Oh man! In other words, President Donald J. Trump, okay, not Chairman Powell, but President Trump controls the interest rates of the most powerful nation on earth, COVID-19, China's UNAM SANCTUM. So we talked about the history of China. Okay, there are thousands of Masonic lodges throughout Indochina. The president of China, President Xi Jinping, is a 30-31 half-degree Mason who had instituted in 2013 in a speech to both countries of Malaysia, okay, and also spoke at the government in the nation of Pakistan, thus giving birth to the Silk Road Belt and Road Initiative that would lend billions of dollars to hundreds of countries around the world, but more specifically in the EU. So the EU backed out of the deal because they're seeing this as a Chinese Trojan horse to overtake not just the West, but the world, like the Soviets did. And mind you, the Belt and Road Initiative, as we're talking about COVID-19, China's UNAM SANCTUM, through the Belt and Road Initiative, it covers 60% of the world's population, okay, which covers 40% of the global GDP, the gross domestic product of these nations, okay? But they're using both COVID-19 in connection to 5G to gain political power, okay? Now, as a side note, China has a corporation, a telecom corporation, by the name of the Huawei Telecommunications Industry Corporation, which controls the highest level of 5G on this earth. Okay, again, like I said 50 minutes ago, on that Johns Hopkins map of COVID-19, the top 20 to 25 countries are inundated and decimated with COVID-19, not only because they backed out of the Silk Road Belt and Road Initiative, but also, my friend, they are saturated with 5G technology, including the United States of America, okay? And again, this is COVID-19, China's UNAM SANCTUM, okay? Now, we move forward here, again, to the United States and her two constitutions. The second constitution, this happened long after President Lincoln's assassination. Who assassinated him? Now, somebody is going to say, well, John Wilkes Booth. Well, he pulled the trigger, but he was not the money that pulled the trigger. Let me say this again. John Wilkes Booth, according to the memoirs of his sister, Asia Booth, John Wilkes Booth was a member of the Virginia State B'nai B'rith of the Anti-Defamation League. Now, to my Jewish brothers and sisters, I'm not castigating you. B'nai B'rith and the ADL doing great work fighting anti-Semitism. I don't have a problem with that. The problem I have is Zionism. I don't have a problem with the Jewish people. You see, my brother, every Zionist is a Jew, but not every Jew is a Zionist, okay? Every Hebrew is a Jew, but not every Jew is a Hebrew. That's another topic for another day. So then there was an attorney that had paid John Wilkes Booth thousands of dollars to assassinate the president. His name is Attorney Simon Wolf, who was a high-ranking member of the Virginia State Anti-Defamation League of B'nai B'rith. So B'nai B'rith, I'm going to say this is going to blow your people's minds, okay?
How was that spelled?
B'nai B'rith. You see, the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan, was not created by white people. Oh my! I got your attention now, man. It got the Ku.
Oh, hey, you got some ears perked up here with that one.
Oh, the KKK was not created by white people. In 1865, within the city and the state of Pulaski, Tennessee, it was created with Rothschild money through an attorney who never graduated from law school, but became the Attorney General. And also became the Secretary of State in war for the Confederacy, Benjamin P. Judah. Benjamin P. Judah, or Benjamin Philip Judah, or Philip Benjamin Judah, who was also a 33rd and 1/2 degree Mason, okay, had created with Rothschild Khazarian Empire money the Ku Klux Klan. White people had nothing to do with that in the beginning. You see, we have been sold a lie, okay, through the Democratic Party since 1865. White people had nothing to do with the creation of the Ku Klux Klan. Oh my God, you're going to get a lot of emails.
You're blowing my mind right now. This is news to me. I'm flabbergasted.
So the Ku Klux Klan was not created by my white brothers and sisters. It was created by the Khazarian Empire that we call the Rothschild Dynasty. In other words, they wanted to rebuild the South through terrorism, okay? So with the help of the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League of B'nai B'rith, along with Rothschild money, through the leadership of Philip Benjamin Judah, who hired Albert Pike as the face of the Klan. You see? In other words, the powers that be want us to think that white people are devils. That's a lie from the pit of hell. Okay? So the KKK was not created by white people. It was created with Zionist money. I'm not talking about Jewish people. 99.9% of the Jewish people are beautiful people. I am talking about Rothschilds, Oppenheimers, Warburgs, the Pritzker family out of Chicago, Illinois, who had created the department of what I call eugenics, okay? The Stevanovich Department of Eugenics at the University of Chicago that was created by John D. Rockefeller. And mind you, as a side note, when we're talking about COVID-19, China's UNAM SANCTUM, there was an African-American, this is just a side note now, a black eugenicist by the name of Dr. James E. Bowman, who passed away some years ago in 2011, okay? He attended the Galton School of Eugenics at the University of London. So guess who his daughter is? Valerie Jarrett. Valerie Jarrett is the daughter of one of the most powerful black eugenicists in history. Yes, Dr. James.
Oh my goodness.
Along with W.E.B. Du Bois, okay, had supported Margaret Sanger and Planned Parenthood going back to the early 1920s for the genocide of not just Black children, but all children whom they deemed to be feeble-minded. And, well, Valerie Jarrett's father was a eugenicist. Okay? So, again, this is COVID-19, China's UNAM SANCTUM.
Wow, I'm seeing some stuff on here about imbeciles being sterilized. Man, some of this information on here is insane. Eugenics.
This is powerful. And I know your mind is being blown. My mind is being blown even telling you this. But because, Monica, I am a researcher, I'm an academic, I am a historian. My job and responsibility is to find the facts, names, dates, times, entities, dispensations, continents. So then, Valerie Jarrett's parents were proponents of eugenics. Her father, Dr. James E. Bowman, who died in 2011, supported W.E.B. Du Bois and the Black Boule Secret Society. I talked about them when I was on your show a few months ago. That is the Skulls and Bones. All of them are 33rd degree Prince Hall Masons, and no person of color can be a 33rd and 1/2 degree. They can only go to a 33rd degree level. So Dr. James E. Bowman, as a side note from COVID-19, China's UNAM SANCTUM, James E. Bowman was a 33rd degree Mason, a part of the Boule Secret Society, and a Prince Hall Mason who was a eugenicist. And this is the reason why his daughter, Valerie Jarrett, is a ardent supporter of little midget Tony Fauci, because Tony Fauci is a eugenicist, okay? So then, we were talking about China, COVID-19, China's UNAM SANCTUM. Getting back to these two constitutions, the first one on the 4th of July, 1776, okay, which made the United States, okay, a republic. Now, I'm going to blow you guys' minds again. I'm going to blow your listeners' minds again. The United States, in its original creation by the founding fathers, was never created to be a democracy. It was created to be a republic. Upon the republic in which we stand, right? One nation under God, whose name is the Lord Jesus Christ, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, okay? Upon the republic, not upon a democratic system, which means the republic which is built upon theocracy. What does that mean? The founding fathers, the framers of our Constitution, the Declaration of not dependence, but the Declaration of Independence, and through the Bill of Rights in the Second Amendment, was to be a nation of liberty, was to be a nation that was not subservient to any other nation, but only to God himself, whose name is the Lord Jesus Christ. The United States of America is a theocratic nation. The term theocracy means theocratic, which means the framers constructed the government to obey the laws of God, which is the Bible, the Word of God. We see the deep state tried to change that in the year 1871. This is when, long after President Lincoln was assassinated, okay? Long after he was assassinated, now through Pope Pius IX, okay, through Rothschild money, and mind you, the Vatican, they don't control their own bank. The Vatican Bank is only the Vatican in name, but the money powers that control it is the Rothschild dynasty. Okay, so the three cities that control this world is Washington, D.C., in Washington, D.C., in 1871, had its own flag. Not the flag that you and I have now. Washington, D.C., in 1871, created its own flag. Who forced them to do that? The Vatican did that through the money, through the city of London, Rothschild money. So the second Constitution in 1871, through the religious authority of the Vatican, through Pope Pius IX, had created a corporation called the United States of America. Okay, before it was called the United States for America in 1776. Now in 1871, it's called the United States of America. You get that, brother? This is powerful.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, that's insane.
This again. So in 1776, it was called the United States for America. In 1871, it became the United States of America. What's the difference? For means that we are a republic built upon the theocratic law of God in his word as a republic. That's 1776. 1871, we become not the United States for America, but the United States of America, all in capital letters. In other words, the United States becomes subservient to the Vatican. Man of God, very few people know this. They know that, and this is heavy stuff here. Now, why would Pope Pius, with Rothschild money in 1871, do this? Now, this goes back to the 1400s when Christopher Columbus, a slave owner, a raper, okay, and a child molester, never set foot on American soil, okay?
Yeah, Chris Columbus, terrible man. Terrible man.
He used to roast children as shishkebabs. I kid you not, okay? So Christopher Columbus never set foot on American soil here in North America. So after the Spanish Inquisition, when all Jews were excommunicated out of Spain, okay, because through the edict of Queen Isabella, she sent Christopher Columbus to the Americas to establish America as a corporation for Spain. But that failed. Now Spain is being hit by COVID-19. Brother, this gets heavy. And now from the 1400s to 1871, there is a second constitution, okay? A second constitution, not for the United States of America, 1776, but the Constitution of the United States of America. It is a corporation. Now, the United States of America is a commodity. It's a stock. It's a share. Oh my God!
That makes so much sense. I've had these thoughts about this, and everything that you're speaking of just rings true to me. Man, the Vatican is so sketchy to me. I don't respect anything that comes out of the Vatican, and for them to make a power play move. I mean, people forget that. Why wouldn't you want to take over the United States? Like taking over vast countries for all the money that's built into the human's DNA. That does not go away. And like you talked about China's leader, when you have a bloodline coming from Genghis Khan and you're a huge fan of Roman Catholicism and all their antics, that's a recipe for disaster.
Oh, yeah, big time. That's a recipe for disaster. Because when you look at it now, let's connect COVID-19. Oh, this gets deeper now, my brother. Let's connect COVID-19 in China to the papacy. Now, going back to 325 AD, the emperor, a man by the name of Constantine, who incidentally took out 45 books out of the King James Version, okay? The King James Version should have over 111 some odd books, but 45.
Oh, keep going on this. Keep going on this. People do not know this, and people need to know this.
Oh, my God. Again, to your powerful listeners, okay? In the beginning, when we're talking about COVID-19, China's UNAM SANCTUM, okay? Now, when we're talking about in the inception of the Roman Catholic Church, okay? So then the Roman Catholic Church was created by the Emperor Constantine. Now, Constantine's parents were practitioners of what they call spirit cooking. Okay? And there's a witch in Los Angeles by the name of Marina Abramovich. Now, Bill Gates, and man, I got this gets horrific. Bill Gates put out a commercial.
It got smashed.
Yes! Of this witch, Marina Abramovich. Oh, this witch. She is a daughter of Baphomet. So what that tells you about Bill Gates? So in 325 AD, the parents of Constantine, who had created this UNAM SANCTUM system called the Vatican, in connection to the Roman Catholic Church, to dominate nations through the political and religious austerity mindset and triumph of Constantine. Constantine was an old homosexual. Constantine was a child trafficker. Constantine was a pedophilia. He practiced pedophilia. Constantine's family, his parents, were practitioners of spirit cooking. And mind you, to young people who are caught up in the blood in Christ as a signal, as we're talking about COVID-19, China's UNAM SANCTUM, the Ashkenazi Hebrew term, not the Hebrew term, but the Ashkenazi Hebrew term. Now, people say, why do you say the word Ashkenazic or Hasidic or Sephardic? Because when a person says, well, I speak Hebrew, I always ask them, okay, what dialect? There's over 325 dialects of Hebrew. So the Ashkenazi Hebrew interpretation of the term Cain comes from that term blood, or what we call DNA, right? And the Ashkenazi interpretation for the term Abel is the term crypt or coffin. This is where we get the term blood in crypts. Cain or blood rose up against his brother crypt and slew him. So when you connect the words Cain to the word Abel, you get the word cannibal, cannibalism, spirit cooking. Marina Abramovich, going back thousands of years to Constantine, 325 AD, who, through the Nicene Council, which is in present-day Turkey, the Nicene Council, which is in present-day Turkey, Nicene Turkey, Constantine had gathered here 325 bishops representing the year 325 AD, okay, and commanded these bishops, and this is a side note from COVID-19, China's UNAM SANCTUM. We're ready to go to the UNAM SANCTUM part. So then these 325 bishops at the Council of Nicene had changed the Word of God. Of course, no one can change the Word of God because the Word of God is forever settled in heaven. So
that's correct.
Beginning, man of God, there were 111 books, including the books of Enoch. There's like 7 different parts of the book of the prophet and seer Enoch. There were books by Mary Magdalene, who was a female seer. Why were those books taken out? Some of the true teachings of Jesus Christ. Of course, the Word of God is the truth today. There's 66 books, but 45 were taken out. Why? Because they were a threat to the Constantine Empire, which we call the Vatican today. So 45 books were taken out, okay?
Now, does that also, when they took out the stories, now does that link out some of the story of the Israelites and whatnot, and kind of try to defame or deface or kind of eliminate the true nations that came and they prop up their, it's a crazy story when you start diving into that stuff.
I'm telling you, they're like even the book of the Maccabees, right? The book of the Maccabees, the original book, has 5 sections to it, okay? Some will tell you more, some will tell you less, but the 5 sections of what we call the Maccabees details the true history of the true Jews, who are
exactly
Jews that we see today. Now, again, I am not an anti-Semite. I love the Jewish brothers and sisters today, okay? All right. I love them to death. I have no problem with them. But if
we got you, Bishop. I trust you. I trust you.
If we're going to save nations, we have to tell the truth. So 5 of these books that were taken out, the 5 books of the Maccabees, which talks about the Maccabean history of the true Jews, that between the books of Malachi and St. Matthew, which we also call the 400 silent years. We're talking about COVID-19, China's UNAM Sanctum. So there's the 400 silent years, which means God was not speaking to the earth in 400 years of our time, okay, which is 40 days to God. That's another topic for another day when it comes to the etymology of God and how God thinks. So then from Malachi to Matthew was when, during the time of Titus, not the Titus in the New Testament, okay, there was King Titus who caused Jerusalem to be destroyed, okay? Who destroyed Jerusalem and who took away the religion of Judaism from the original Jews? The Khazarian Empire out of Turkey. The Khazarian Mafia, the empire, which we now today call the Rothschilds. So between Malachi and Matthew was when Jerusalem, the temple, the Holy Mount, and all of Israel was ransacked by a foreign entity and a foreign power called the Khazarian Empire Mafia, which now they claim Judaism as their own, okay? And now there was a book that came out of that time period, which actually goes back to the Babylonian captivity of the Jews. Now, there's a book, and this is a side note from COVID-19, China's UNAM Sanctum. There's a book called the Talmud, okay? Capital Talmud. In the Talmud, they support pedophilia. Man of God, I'm telling you, I kid you not, they support pedophilia. That was not the doctrine of the original Jews prior to the book of the prophet Malachi. That Talmud post-dates the book of the prophet Malachi, which is today the Sanhedrin Council, the enemies of the Lord Jesus Christ, okay, called the Khazarian Mafia. They support pedophilia. In the Talmud, you can marry a girl when she's 3 years old. You can marry a little boy if he's 4 years old. That is pedophilia, okay? That's pedophilia. Now, back to, oh my God, you got me excited now.
Oh, man. This is heavy stuff, Bishop.
This is heavy here. So then Constantine took out 45 books, as we're talking about COVID-19, China's UNAM Sanctum, okay, and created. Now, during this time, there was a pope by the name of Pope Sylvester, okay? Pope Sylvester, okay, who died in 335 AD. Now, it's interesting that at the time of Constantine, during the history of the papacy, even to this day, the popes are not chosen by bishops. The popes are chosen by the global elite through the bishops. Okay? I'm going to get to UNAM Sanctum. So Constantine chose Pope Sylvester. Okay? He chose Pope Sylvester during the time of the Nicene Council in 325 AD. And Pope Sylvester became the 33rd Pope of the Vatican system.
Numbers, baby. 33 pops up everywhere.
There you go. 33 degrees in the Masonic order to your students and to your listeners. So Pope Sylvester becomes the 33rd Pope within the Roman Catholic history, who died on the 31st of December in the year of 335 AD. So Pope Sylvester, with the political backing of Constantine, we're getting to UNAM Sanctum here in regards to COVID-19 and China's role in connection to the Vatican. So then, there is a document called Liber Pontificials, capital Liber, and Pontificials with the I and the S sounding at the end, capital PONTIFICALIS. Liber or Liber Pontificials, which means the book of the popes. So Constantine was a pedophilia type of person. Pope Sylvester had backed the system of pedophilia and child trafficking and sacrifice during the reign of the Emperor Constantine the Great, who was anything but great. Okay? And so this is Unam Sanctum coming up here now. So then now we come from 325 AD, Constantine, who took out 45 books out of the King James Version, which details the history of the true Jews, the history of the role of women in the church as prophets and seers, because Constantine didn't want that to be exposed. And also, what's so interesting, Managana, as we're talking about COVID-19, China's Unam Sanctum, Constantine took out the books of Adam and his wife Eve. Okay, now you notice the first letter of Adam is A, the last letter of Adam is N. So Adam was created as the AM of the morning. His wife Eve was created as the PM of the evening. So
wow.
We say as a side note, it's Adam and Eve, and not Adam and Deacon Stevie. It's Eve and Adam, and not Eve and Ellen degenerate. Another topic for another day. So COVID-19, China's Unam Sanctum. Okay. Now we come up to Pope Boniface VIII. In the year 1302, my brother, he created what we call the papal bull Unam Sanctum. Now, why that term bull? Capital B-U-L-L. That's an acronym for the term Baal. Capital B-A-A-L. Now, there are, and for your science students and listeners, there are two distinct property elements that are within chemtrails that are also located within COVID-19. Okay? And those two properties are called barium, okay, and aluminum or lead. Barium, the acronym chemical compound letters for barium is capital B-A, and the chemical compound letters for aluminum or lead is the letter capital A-L. Oh, that's interesting. B-A-A-L, Baal. Papal bull Unam Sanctum that was instituted by Pope Boniface VIII in 1302. Now, what is Unam Sanctum? Unam Sanctum, okay, were over at least 300 papal bull documentations or initiations or initiatives put out through the history of the papacy system. Through the history of the papacy system, we have at least over 300 some papal bull or Baalistic decrees. Okay. Now, Pope Boniface, as a side note, now I know that you've heard of this organization, Alcoholics Anonymous. All right, and this is a side note. Now,
I've been there. I've been there before.
Okay, so it was created in 1935 by Bill Wilson and Dr. Bob. Now, the Alcoholics Anonymous, I'm not castigating them what I'm about to say in connection to this term named Boniface, okay? But Bill Wilson had created the tenets of Alcoholics Anonymous, including the 12-step program, by having a seance in his home with him, his wife, and Dr. Bob and his wife. A seance when they were summoning the spirit of Pope Boniface.
Oh, my goodness.
They were summoning the spirit of Pope Boniface which, according to Bill Wilson, gave them instructions to build the 12-step schematical program of Alcoholics Anonymous. God had nothing to do with that. That Pope Boniface that was summoned, that was a demon. I am sorry. So that's how the foundation of Alcoholics Anonymous was created, by Bill Wilson summoning the spirit or the entity of the dead Pope Boniface VIII. Why did he love Pope Boniface? I'm Bill Wilson. Pope Boniface had created a decree called Unam Sanctum. In other words, this was, brother, the first express trust in human history. The first express trust in human history. In other words, what is a trust? It's a will, a decree, a order, a commodity, a stock, a trust. So when we're talking about COVID-19, China's Unam Sanctum. So the term Unam Sanctum means that I, Pope Boniface is saying, I am going to own every soul upon the face of the earth by creating the first express trust in the form of a birth certificate. Oh my. So then the birth certificate was created by the papacy system, the system of papacy going back to 1302, okay? So then in 1302, with the protection, the military protection of the military-industrial complex called the Knights Templar. So the Knights Templar helped Pope Boniface, protecting him militarily and legally by helping Pope Boniface create the first multinational corporation called the Vatican System. So the Vatican System, through Unam Sanctum in 1302, through Pope Boniface VIII, had created the first express trust, thereby creating a birth certificate, which your birth certificate on mine are sold on every stock market on this earth. Every birth certificate number, this is getting deeper now, every birth certificate number, man of God, is sold as stock, as a commodity, as a share of not just here in New York City on Wall Street, but all over the world. So we got 7.6 billion people. Half of them are on lockdown now. So 7.6 billion birth certificates, 7.6 billion stocks, commodities, shares, and trust. In other words, to the psyop of the Vatican, you and I don't even exist. So, when we talk about COVID-19, and if you got any questions, just jump right in because I'm flowing here. So,
I'm taking this in. I'm catching. I'm getting all this.
Woo! I can't wait for
processing. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
China's Unam Sanctum. So, Pope Boniface VIII created the first express trust in human history and the first multinational corporation with the military protection of the Knights Templar. Now, the Knights Templar was the first military power outside of Israel. The Knights Templar were all 33rd and 1/2 degree Masons, and the Knights Templar today are called the Jesuits. I'm going to come up to the Jesuit order in 1540. So in COVID-19, China's Unam Sanctum. Now, in 1302, Pope Boniface creates the Unam Sanctum, that every soul would have to be required to have a birth certificate, which is a stock, a bill of lading. Once you and I came through the birthing canal of the seed of our mother's water through her womb, then that's called maritime, okay? And maritime, which represents the woman, maritime, and her child was manufactured by her husband, the man, manufactured a stock, a commodity, a share, and a trust through the birthing canal of maritime. Now, without the birth certificate, you don't have a right to a social security number. You don't have rights to a state ID. You don't have rights to a driver's license. Now, when your parents sign on the dotted line of that first express trust called the birth certificate, we no longer belong to our parents. We belong to the Vatican State that we call the United States of America. Man of God, this is...
We got hustled.
Everyone. That's it. I can't teach this to everyone because they will think that Bishop has lost his mind. You see, again, the Bible teaches us, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. And in the book of the prophet Isaiah, that God says through Isaiah, the son of Amos, the prophet in the book of Isaiah, that my people have gone into captivity. Why? Because they lack knowledge. So then, the Knights Templar became the military-industrial complex protecting the interests of the Vatican Empire. And mind you, as a side note, there's a difference between empire versus kingdom. You see, Jesus Christ did not come 2,000 years ago to establish an empire. Jesus Christ came to establish his kingdom come, his will be done. An empire is built on shed blood. But the kingdom of Jesus Christ is built on the shed blood of salvation, which is through our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ on the cross. So the church of the Lord Jesus Christ, the true church, all right, the apostolic faith church, is not an empire like the Vatican. The Vatican is an empire, but the true church of Acts chapter 2 is the kingdom of the Lord Jesus Christ. Oh, this is COVID-19 China's UNAM Sanctum. So this UNAM Sanctum, where every soul was to be bought and sold at the will of the Vatican. 3 cities that control the world, my friend. Washington.
This is hell on earth.
Oh, my God. That's it. They control the world, okay? And it's Washington, D.C., the military-industrial complex. Number 2, the city of London, okay? Now, there is, within the city of London, a section in a building called Bar Temple, capital B-A-R Temple. The Bar Temple, it was established with Rothschild money. Let me say this again. The Bar Temple was established with Rothschild money, and the Bar Temple in London, England, is the only entity on earth that is not subservient to the Vatican. I'm going to come back to the Temple Bar, or what we call Bar Temple, or the Temple Bar. And the Temple Bar, which is in London, is the entrance to the city of London, England, on the western side of the city of Westminster. And the third city that controls the world is the Vatican, the religious order. So Washington, D.C., the military-industrial complex, the city of London, the financial-industrial complex, the Rothschild banking, and the Vatican, the religious industrial complex. And then COVID-19, China's UNAM Sanctum. Now we get here, not just UNAM Sanctum, where the birth certificate is a bill of lading. It's a title. It's a deed. It's a trust. So then the United States of America is not the United States for America, going back to July 4th, 1776. Because post date 1871 up until this day, it's not called the United States for America, but it's the United States of America, all in capital letters. So God, I believe, man of God, has anointed and called President Donald J. Trump for us to break away from the Vatican deep state. This is the reason why they're trying to kill President Trump. They tried to kill him through the Russian hoax, the Ukraine hoax. Now they're trying to throw a Hail Mary, COVID-19. It's not going to work.
They're in some damage control for him right now.
Yes, because you see, President Trump will be reelected. There is no question. There is no way that creepy sniffing Joe Biden, you can't remember that toe from his left thumb, would be
I'm with you.
the United States of America. So
that's insane to me.
It's insane.
That's insane.
You can't remember anything. Go ahead, man.
This is like Joe Biden. This is the candidate that you guys are putting forth. It reinforces all the skepticism of puppets in high power. Yeah. And you guys trot out Joe Biden like that's the Democratic savior. It's absolutely insane to me that people can't figure this kind of stuff out.
It's ludicrous. It's ludicrous. And so Joe Biden is up in his net in this Chinese-Ukrainian conspiracy to uranium one. Okay, so but he will not be president. So as we move forward here, COVID-19, China's UNAM SANCTUM. Oh my God, we're almost done here. So then, from Constantine 325 AD through the documentation of Liber Pontifica or Pontificalis, capital Pontificalis with the IS silent at the end. The book of the popes, where Pope Sylvester is the 33 pope in the history of the papacy system, going back to 325, who was chosen by the emperor. Pope Francis is not chosen by the bishops. I know you're going to get a lot of people. The minds are going to be blown, man. Pope Francis, again, from Argentina, and his bloodline, anytime you type in his name and type in Pope Francis hidden hand, he would have either his right hand or his left hand inside of his jacket pocket, which means he is a high-level 30 and 1/2 degree Mason.
Yep, I've been seeing those. I've been seeing the hidden hand.
Yes, he is a part of the hidden hand. So Pope Francis was not chosen by the bishops and the cardinals in Rome. Pope Francis was chosen by the present day Constantinian Empire called the Khazarian Empire, the Rothschilds, the deep state. Okay, so then the UNAM SANCTUM creates what we call the birth certificate, which the birth certificate number can be sold on Wall Street. Okay, now the UNAM SANCTUM, through the birth certificate and 7.6 billion birth certificates, bills of lading, titles and deeds, and trusts are hidden within the vaults of the Vatican Bank. I kid you not. So then, COVID-19, China's UNAM SANCTUM. Okay, now we get to the history of the Vatican. The Khazarian financial empire controls the money supply of the Vatican Bank. And the Vatican Bank controls the Vatican, which controls the world, which controls three cornucopia or three-tiered headed demonic system on this earth. They control the military. They control what we call the black nobility. And they control the financial system, okay? You can get this from a book called Babylon's Banks or Babylon's Bankers. Again, Babylon's Bankers, where it says throughout their chapters concerning this three-tier cornucopia-headed system, okay, called the Khazarian Empire, okay? Military, finance, and through the black nobility. And when I mean the black nobility, European dynastic families, okay? So then when we talk about China, UNAM Sanctum, the UNAM Sanctum, China's UNAM Sanctum is getting deeper here now, man of God. Now, there are 3 additional trusts that the Vatican system has instituted in connection to China. The first one was the UNAM Sanctum, put out by Pope Benedict VIII. There's 3 more systems, okay, of what we call trusts, decrees, deeds, okay, where every soul in their personhood, the property doesn't belong to them, it belongs to the Vatican. Now, before I get to these three-tiered trust schematical structure, now when you type in the words Triple Crown or the word tiara, capital Tiara, capital Tiara, most of the early popes, going back to Constantine, to Sylvester, to Constantine, to Sylvester, and also to many of the popes, and we're talking about Pope Boniface, Pope Nicholas, okay, Pope Clement, Pope Sextus, okay, the 4th. These popes wore a 3-crown system, a 3-crown tire called the tiara, capital Tiara, and that term tiara, which means triple crown, crown means koved, capital C.
Oh, yeah.
I-D, there we go, in Hebrew, and Hebrew from koved, in Hebrew, when translated into English, reveals the word Kobe.
Yep, and bring it all around. Bring it back around.
That's it. It comes back to Kobe Bryant.
Now, was Kobe the straw that broke the camel's back? Was that kind of what initiated all of this? It seems that after Kobe was killed, I think we've established that after Kobe was killed, it's been very strange times, Bishop, with nothing makes sense. But when you look into now I'm not too well versed in gematria, but from what I've seen and looked at, you can't deny it. I don't understand how people can deny what's right in front of your face. Like, your eyes aren't lying to you. You need to trust this kind of stuff.
Oh my God. And you're talking about Kobe was 41 years old. To keep a mental paperclip there concerning COVID-19, China's UNAM Sanctum, and now we're in the year 1455. We're going to go through a history of 3 additional trusts, which came out of the Vatican, not the UK, and the Crown through the House of Windsor, or the House of Saxe there. Matter of fact, as a side note, Queen Elizabeth, Prince Charles, okay, Prince William, the House of Windsor, that's not their real name. Their real name is Saxe-Coburg, okay? Capital S-A-X-E, Coburg, capital C-O-B-U-R-G. They are of German descent, okay? So the House of Windsor are not even British. They are of German descent and blood, who had heavy connections, not just to the Third Reich during World War II, but going back to World War I, even before the time of the chronology of World War I within Germany. Okay, so the House of Windsor are nothing. I got to say this: the House of Windsor is nothing but present-day Nazis. They're not.
I'm with you.
Origin. They're of German origin, and so then now we're getting into in 1555. These are 3 more trusts established by the Vatican as we're talking about COVID-19, China's UNAM Sanctum. So in 1455, Pope Nicholas V created what he calls the Testamentary Trust, the Testamentary, capital T-E-S-T-A-M-E-N-T-A-R-Y, the Testamentary Trust, which created real estate, which means the deed, the will to real estate belongs to the Vatican. You see, the structure of what we call real estate came from the psyop of the Vatican system, okay? Going back to 1302, through Pope Boniface VIII, that every soul belongs to the papacy UNAM Sanctum. Now in 1455, through Pope Nicholas V, he created the Testamentary Trust, which means every deed, every will, every piece of real estate belongs to the Vatican. Okay, so they say, oh no, Bishop, it belongs to me. Well, yes, though you paid off the mortgage of your home, but the very concept, the seed, its origin was created in the psyop of Pope Nicholas V, okay, going back 600-700 years ago in 1455, what he called the Testamentary Trust. Even the will and the real estate or the estate or the trust of the deceased, what we call the legal will, that came from Pope Nicholas V. It didn't come out of the UK. It didn't come from the Crown or the House of Windsor. This came from the Vatican, okay? So in 1455, which is the second trust, after UNAM Sanctum, is now instituted through Pope Nicholas V, the Testamentary Trust, okay, which he also called Romanus Pontifex. Romanus, capital Romanus, Pontifex, capital Pontifex, okay, which they have the authority now to take away your property, okay? Even the taxing system came from the Vatican system, which means the IRS is illegal, man of God. The Internal Revenue Service today is illegal. That's another topic for another day.
Absolutely. I've been hammering that. The IRS is a sketchy organization.
And I know Trump wants to abolish it. He wants to do it in his second term, but he has to deal with this crisis first, in which he will. So then COVID-19, China's UNAM Sanctum, well, you got me excited now. So the first trust, UNAM Sanctum, all souls belong to the Vatican, which is a lie. The second trust, in 1455, the Testamentary Trust, through Pope Nicholas V, all real estate belongs to Pope Nicholas V in the Vatican, okay? And now we go to the third trust, and it's called the Attorney Regis Trust, okay, or what they call the Attorney Regis Trust. Allow me to spell that. Capital AETERNI, then Regis, capital REGIS. So the what we call Attorney Regis is the third distinct trust, okay, created by the papacy system, okay, created by Pope Sextus IV. Sextus, capital SIXTUS, from whence we get the term Sixers, like 76ers, Kobe Bryant's hometown of Philadelphia, okay? So the term Attorney Regis, capital AETERNI, Regis, capital REGIS, also means that through Pope Sixtus the Fourth, okay, in 1381, the deep state for the Vatican owns your personal property, not just your real estate, okay, come on, Pope Nicholas V, but also owns not just your soul, Pope Boniface, but also owns your personal property. They own your thinking. This is the sick mindset of the deep state. They own your thinking. They own your soul. They own your real estate and your personhood, your property, okay? So Attorney Regis is the third trust after 1302, UNAM Sanctum, after 1455, the Testamentary Trust, or the Romanus Pontifex, now the third trust in 1481 called the Attorney Regis Trust, okay? And that term attorney also is translated as the word attorney or lawyer. Attorney registrate from whence we get the phrase attorney-client privilege. So the term attorney-client privilege came out of Rome, the Vatican system. Now, do you understand, man, I got my friend, the court system was set up by the Vatican. And the reason why judges were black, because according to Pope Sextus, capital Sixtus, the fourth in 1481, every judge upon, not just within the papacy system of law, but throughout the world, was they were black because the judges were to represent the Grim Reaper. Black, the Grim Reaper. So in the court system, according to the third trust, attorney regis, okay, capital Aeterni, regis, capital Regis, the court system, according to the papacy system, was created and designed by the papacy system through Pope Sextus IV in 1481, that you're supposed to be, what I thought, innocent until you're proven guilty. But in the papacy system, you as an individual, you represent a dead commodity, a dead stock, a dead corporation, incorporation, a dead entity. Okay? So that guilty means a person that is dead. That's what it means, brother. Oh my God, it goes back to 1481. But the term not guilty means that that person is raised from the dead or is resurrected from death. This is according to the third trust system of the attorney regis, attorney-client privilege system instituted by the Catholic Church in 1481 AD through Pope Sextus IV. So the judges wearing black, they represent the Jesuit order of law, and the person, whether they're guilty or not, they are dead to the system, and that's why they need an attorney to resurrect you and I from death to life. Again, everything is based on the papacy system concerning COVID-19, China's UNAM SANCTUM, okay? And in my closing, in 1531, there is a fourth trust system put in by Pope Clement VII now. Pope Clement VII in 1531 put in a system called convocation. Capital CONVOCATION. So convocation is the fourth deed or trust which represents Pope Clement VII, and the Vatican system owns your soul. Now notice here the four trust systems of UNAM SANCTUM in 1302 through Pope Boniface, okay, the eighth, and number two through the 1455 testamentary trust or Romanist Pontifex, okay, which means every piece of real estate belongs to the Vatican through the city of London, okay? And that is through Pope Nicholas V in 1455. And the third trust in 1481 is through the Attorney Regis Trust through Pope Sextus IV, which means personal property belongs to the Vatican. And the fourth trust in 1531 is called the Trust of Convocation through Pope Clement VII, where the soul belongs to the Vatican. So UNAM SANCTUM, soul. Testamentary trust, real estate. Attorney Regis, personal property, and coming full circle to convocation, soul. So we have soul, real estate, personal property, and soul in the mindset of the sick deep state in the Vatican through the Rothschild financial system in London, thinks that they control us. And in my conclusion, when we're talking about COVID-19, China's UNAM SANCTUM, there is a Latin word called Sistile QV. Allow me to spell that out. Sistile capital CESTUI, which has a gematria number of 6. Q, capital QUE, which has a double Latin gematria number of 6. And Vi, capital VIE, which has a triple Latin gematria of 6,666. So the entire system of UNAM SANCTUM, testamentary trust, my brother, attorney regis, and convocation is rooted in the global papacy system of 666, and especially the last 3 trusts of testamentary trust, the SESTUI, capital CESTUI, and the attorney regis system, that's Q, capital QUE. And that last system of convocation is VIE, capital VIE 6. So SESTI, QVI, is a Latin Roman Italian word meaning 666. That's the soul, the real estate, the personal property of every person on earth belongs to the Vatican. That's what they teach, but the devil is a lie. Our soul does not belong to the Vatican. Our souls belong to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And somebody may say, what does this have to do with China and COVID-19? Because China wants to be one of those 3 cities that control the world. Like the United States, right? Washington, D.C., the military, London finance, where they have the Temple Bar, which is not subservient to any city or entity in the world, and then the Vatican, the religious system. But China wants to be a part of the club. China is using COVID-19, and COVID-19 is not called the Corona-19 because it came out in 2019. No, sir. COVID-19 is revealed as the 19th strand within the SARS family, the severe acute respiratory syndrome, which was created in a laboratory in 2006 in Emeryville, California, at the Chiron Corporation, capital CHIRON. And the Chiron Corporation in 2006 created the entity of what we call the coronavirus. Okay? Now, Chiron in Greek mythology was a half a man, half an animal who had a pedophilia relationship with the child Achilles. Chiron was sold in 2006 to one of the largest, most powerful pharmaceutical companies on this earth, my friend, called the Novartis AG Group. Okay?
Oh my goodness, wow.
Artis. The Novartis AG Group owns 2,500 subsidiary pharmaceutical companies around the world, okay? 3 of which were being sued by Kobe Bryant. The NSYS Therapeutic Corporation, capital INSYS Therapeutics, which owns the Acorn Corporation, capital AKORN, which owns high-tech pharmaceuticals out of Atlanta, Georgia. Okay? Now, one of the most powerful men in the pharmaceutical industry is now in prison for 66 months. His name is John Kapoor, and he's in prison now. And I believe there's another man by the name of Jared Wheat, capital JARED Wheat, who was in prison multiple times because he, along with John Kapoor, who's in prison now, were lacing the weight loss pills, my friend, with opioid substances. That's why Kobe Bryant was taking them to court, not because they were using his nickname, the Black Mamba, but they were using his nickname and using these weight loss pills in the name of his nickname, Black Mamba, which is in a coffee symbology teaching all in of itself. That's another teaching for another day. So then, when we talk about COVID-19, China's UNAM SANCTUM, Kobe was set to go to trial The Wednesday, had he lived following his death on that Wednesday, the 29th, against...
And that's when it all comes to life right there.
When it all... Ever since Kobe's death, there has been a level of darkness and revelation of that level, unlike any other death, including JFK in history. Kobe Bryant's death hurt so many people, okay? Now, Kobe Bryant was not perfect. Now, remember going back to his 2003 rape allegation case. A young girl was accusing him by the name of Caitlin Faber. Her parents belong to Phi Beta Kappa. Phi Beta Kappa is the legal and educational arm of the deep state. That's Phi Beta Kappa. Kappa Beta Phi is the Wall Street faction of the deep state. They set Kobe up. So Kobe goes to Eagle, Colorado in 2003, and I'm done in July 2003.
What was that fraternity one more time?
What's that?
What was that fraternity one more time?
Phi Beta Kappa. Phi Kappa PHI. Phi Beta Kappa BETA Kappa. Phi Beta Kappa Kappa KAPPA. So
Got it.
Phi Beta Kappa, it is so interesting, man, guy, is the educational in the legal faction of the deep state. Okay, that's Phi Beta Kappa. But Kappa Beta Phi is the Wall Street faction of the deep state. That's Jeff Steibel. That is Kobe Bryant's partner, Jeff Steibel. If you type in Jeff Steibel's net worth, it doesn't come up. But it comes up with Kobe Bryant's net worth. Why is that? Who is Jeff Steibel? Jeff Steibel was a part and still is a part of a foundation called Lifeboat Foundation. Jeffrey Epstein knew Jeff Steibel. Jeff Steibel knew Jeffrey Epstein and knew the brother of Jeffrey Epstein, Mark Epstein. Bill and Hillary Clinton is on the board of Lifeboat Foundation. Bill and Melinda Gates is on the board of Lifeboat Foundation. George Soros is on the board of Lifeboat Foundation. Okay? The former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, Dr. Susan Rice, okay, who is Phi Beta Kappa, she sits on the board of Lifeboat Foundation. Why would Kobe Bryant get himself mixed up with some of these demons? You see, and so then Jeff Steibel is the CEO of a foundation called the Brain Gate. The Brain Gate, which is a part of the CIA's program, the Brain Initiative, that Barack Obama put in back in 2013. Okay? So then, Jeff Steibel is deep state. Jeff Steibel knew Les Wexner, knew Mark Epstein, knew Jeffrey Epstein. Kobe knew Harvey Weinstein. Kobe's lawyer, okay, back in 2003, of that rape allegation, is a woman by the name of Pamela Mackey. Guess who Pamela Mackey represents today? Harvey Weinstein.
Wow.
Mackey,
Full circle.
And a capo. Yes. Pamela Mackey was chosen for Kobe Bryant to represent him. Okay, Kobe Bryant was set up because Kobe Bryant would not play the game. Okay, Kobe Bryant was set up because Kobe Bryant would not play the game. Let me say it again. Kobe Bryant was set up because Kobe Bryant did not want to play the game. Okay, so what the question is, what did Kobe know? Kobe was a part of the Lifeboat Foundation, okay? With all of these deep state players, Tony Fauci sits on the advisory board of Lifeboat Foundation. Little Tony Fauci and Dr. Deborah Birx sat on Lifeboat Foundation. Kobe knew Tony Fauci. 3 days before Kobe died, I got information, facts about this. 3 days before he was killed, my friend, on Thursday, that Thursday prior to his death on the 23rd, Kobe Bryant was at a medical conference representing his firm, his venture capital from the Bryant Steibel Capital Foundation, him and Jeffrey Morgan Steibel, who's got a criminal record, just look it up. Jeff Stable and his brother Mark Stable have criminal records, and Jeff Stable is up in this net legally because of Ponzi schemes. He is under indictment from the states of California and the state of Washington, okay, by over 2,500 people, my friend, because of Ponzi schemes. This is the person that was introduced to Kobe Bryant. Why? So then 3 days before Kobe died, Kobe participated in a medical conference, okay, in Pasadena, California. Guess who was there? Dr. Deborah Birx and Tony Fauci. Man,
Sketch balls.
And I'm not blaming Tony Fauci or Dr. Birx or anything. My job is to connect the dots. And so I believe that the deep state wanted Kobe to do something that he was not willing to do. Maybe to sacrifice his daughter, Gigi, or to turn her into a lesbian, or to make her a boy like Dwayne Wade made his son Zion a little girl, Zion. Okay? And when you look up Dwayne Wade's hair, I believe on the businessjournal.com, or just type in Dwayne Wade misunderstood LGBTQ communities. Dwayne Wade misunderstood LGBTQ communities. And it shows a picture of Dwayne Wade hugging his son, Zion, who has now become a girl, Zaya. And Dwayne Wade has braids shaped in the shape of miniature pyramids.
I saw that. I think I posted it on my Instagram.
Yes. Which, according to the FBI, Medagob, those pyramids were declassified by the FBI some years ago as being one of those symbols used by the underground pedophilia network. Why would Dwayne Wade have his hair in braids in the first place, which goes back to Babylonian worship of the house deities? Why would Dwayne Wade have his hair braided in the shape of a pedophilia symbol? You see, when Dwayne Wade was buck-broken, we talked about that word last time when I was on the air, on your show, okay? Going back to slavery, when they were stripped down to slavery and raped him or her, and so I won't even go into that. But Dwayne Wade was buck-broken. In other words, the system said, if you want to go higher financially, you have to give up your son. Okay, he has to become a girl. I believe that the deep state wanted Gigi Bryant to do that, and Kobe. I'm hearing information now, which cannot be substantiated, but I'm still digging into it. I'm hearing information now that Kobe was not only going to testify that Wednesday after his death on the 29th had he lived, because Kobe was upset. And I don't mean to get off on COVID, and we're talking about COVID-19, but the term COVID is a Hebrew term translated into English as COVID. So COVID-19 or COVID-19, China's UNAM SANCTUM, as we ended here tonight. But Kobe Bryant was willing to go into witness protection. And next time I come on your show, I'll have more information on that. I have a couple of sources within the FBI here in New York City. I have a good friend of mine who's a Nigerian pastor. I'm really tight here in the Nigerian community, and I have a doctor friend who's a Nigerian, okay, and been telling me, Bishop, the president is being lied to, okay? These hospital beds are not filled up. That's another topic for another day. But I got a close connection into the New York Bureau chapter of the FBI. And a friend of mine who I will not name, I don't want him to get in trouble or to be prosecuted, but he is saying that Kobe Bryant was scheduled to go into witness protection. Why is that? And he couldn't get into that. That's all he said. He said, now, if you say my name, Bishop, I will deny it. Kobe Bryant was getting ready to go into witness protection. Why? Because of what he knew on the Clinton Foundation, the Clinton Global Initiative, what he knew concerning the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Bill Gates' name is on that flight manifest on Jeffrey Epstein's plane, the Lolita Express. Why would Bill Clinton be hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein?
Did you also see Bill Clinton at after LeBron passed up Kobe on the scoring list?
You see,
Big Bill Clinton was over there in the crowd congratulating LeBron after he took out Kobe's record, and then that's when that following weekend Kobe was taken out.
That was 3 days. That's it. That was 3 days before Kobe's death. You see, so you have to remember Kobe Bryant was chosen by the Aspen Institute. And now the Aspen Institute is a CIA think tank, one of the most powerful institutes and foundations on this earth, which have some of the most powerful people in politics on this earth, not just in this country, but on this earth. So Kobe Bryant got in the mix of that. So Kobe Bryant was chosen by the Aspen Institute to travel to New York City to take part of the Clinton Global Initiative. Kobe Bryant, you can just type it in, Kobe Bryant speaks at the Clinton Foundation or the Clinton Global Initiative. Okay, about sports and about teamwork and unity. But the question is, what did Kobe know? And why would he need to go into witness protection? Because he was going to spill the beans to President Trump concerning the Clinton Foundation, the Clinton Global Initiative, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, okay, George Soros and the Soros Management Fund and the Soros Open Society Foundation, including he had the goods, Kobe Bryant had the goods on Mark Zuckerberg. Okay? Mark Zuckerberg and his wife, Dr. Priscilla Chan, they chair an initiative called the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative. Now, you remember Event 201. Remember that? They had it here in New York City, October last year. Event 201, that was financially backed by George Soros, by Bill and Melinda Gates, by Mini Mike Bloomberg, by the Department of Homeland Security and the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, which planned a simulation game called Crimson Contagion. Crimson Contagion is a simulation exercise, my brother, that the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, along with the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, had created this simulation, which started, I believe, in January of last year to August of last year, okay? And then 2 months later, Event 201 took place and through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which people who participated in the simulation in preparing for COVID-19. Bill and Melinda Gates. Do you know Bill and Melinda Gates, along with George Soros, owns the Wuhan Institute of Virology? I said this at the beginning of the show tonight. They own also a separate division of the Wuhan Institute of Virology called the WuXi Pharma AgTech Institute. WuXi, capital W, capital S-I, Pharma AgTech, whose address is 666 Goexon Road in Wuhan. 666 Goexon.
You can't make this stuff up.
You can't make it up. Capital Goasin. I said, people, look it up. This is heavy here. And this is the end of COVID-19, China's UNAM sanctum. And China has made an agreement and a deal with the Vatican 2 years ago with Pope Francis, who's a 31.5-degree Mason. Look him up. His hand is inside of his jacket pocket. Anytime you see a picture. And I posted this maybe a week ago, my friend, and I'm done. Thank you for your patience. I posted this on both Twitter and Facebook of Tony Fauci, his left hand inside of his jacket pocket. Do you know you have ignorant people who say, well, he was probably trying to scratch his belly or his chest. These are ignorant people, man of God. I said, no, that's a high-level Mason. Well, it wasn't with the right hand, Bishop. It doesn't matter whether it's with the right hand or the left. Right means favor, left means disfavor. So with Tony Fauci, his left hand, people look it up on my Twitter wall at Bishop L. Gaiters, okay? Where Tony Fauci has his left hand inside of his jacket pocket, which means that's a Masonic code telling the world that he's on his way out of the White House. Tony Fauci is on the medical advisory board of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the Clinton Foundation, and the Clinton Global Initiative. Tony Fauci is a deep state swamp scientist.
I'm with you.
Is a deep state swamp scientist. They're pushing vaccines because they want to kill us, man of God. This is depopulation. And I'm going to say one more thing and get out of the way. You got me so excited.
I love it.
Information. And
we got about 10 minutes left on here.
So, matter of fact, I'm going to give you about 3 or 4 minutes and I'm done. If you got to get a chance to all your listeners, in my closing statement of COVID-19, China's Union states that China is using this pathogen, this biogen, which was sold to them by the Novartis AG group in 2018, the same year that China signed an agreement with Pope Francis of the Vatican Roman Catholic Church. It was all in preparation to destroy Western powers with a pathogen and a virus that the Novartis AG group had bought from the Chiron Corporation Group, which no longer exists in Emeryville, California. And this is according to the website, the National Institutes of Health, which Tony Fauci runs. But that COVID-19, which is the 19th strand within the SARS severe acute respiratory syndrome family, has a U.S. patent number, okay? Now, I got to say this as well. So the Chiron was, and that company, Chiron, and their patent for the coronavirus was sold to the Novartis AG group. Half of the shares, my friend, half of the company is owned by 2 Americans. And guess who they are? Bill Gates and George Soros. The ones who are pushing, along with the World Health Organization, along with Tony Fauci's buddy, Dr. Tedros Adhanom, who is the Secretary General of the WHO, the World Health Organization. And Tedros Adhanom is a socialist, Leninist, Marxist, and a communist. He belongs to a depopulation group in Ethiopia, along with using China as a global chess piece through COVID-19 to establish a present-day UNAM SANCTUM takeover of this world. So the U.S. patent, when we talk about in the end, and when we talk about the U.S. patent for COVID-19, it was first created by the Chiron Corporation, okay, back in 2006. Bill Gates owns the patent for COVID-19. Bill Gates owns the patent for COVID-19. So
there you go. I was waiting for those little cookie crumbs right there.
Yeah, so people say, oh, this is getting heavier now. So then, Bill Gates owns the patent for COVID-19. Now, I'm looking at it right now on the government website, okay? The National Library of Medicine, the National Center for Biotechnology Information, and the website is a long link, but I'm going to say it anyway, pubchem.ncbi.nlm, like in Mary, .nih.gov/patent/US. And now the US patent for the SARS virus, which is the coronavirus COVID-19, is US patent 200-625-7852. Oh my God. US 200-625-7852. This is on the US government website for the National Center for Biotechnology, which is a department within the National Institutes of Health. When you click on the patent number, it shows you the scientist who had created this pathogen, COVID-19, which back then was called COVID, okay, or COVID-6, because it was only the 6th strain of the coronavirus. It's called COVID-19 now because it's the 19th strand, not because it came out last year. So Chiron Corporation had created this pathogen.
Oh, I'm looking at this right now.
And then there you go. And then they Chiron, and look at all the application numbers. Okay, look at all the application numbers from April the 10th, 2003 to April the 7th, 2004. every strain, I'm going to say this and I'm done, every strain of the 19 strands of COVID-19, it's called COVID-19 because it has 19 strands within the SARS, severe acute respiratory syndrome family. Each strand not only has an application number, but each strand has a patent number. This is how sophisticated the deep state is. This is how sophisticated darkness is. And so Q1 was then sold to the Novartis AG group, who Kobe Bryant was selling. Because Novartis had owned 3 of the major pharmaceutical companies in this country, the NK Therapeutic Corporation, INSISYS, and the Acorn Corporation, AKORN, and High Tech Pharmaceuticals out of Atlanta, Georgia, which was also owned by Jared Wheat. Jared Wheat hated Kobe Bryant because Kobe Bryant was exposing Jared Wheat for using Kobe Bryant's nickname to market weight loss pills, which had addictive substances called opioid substances. That's what Novartis took out. Yes, Novartis AG took out Kobe Bryant. And who owns half of Novartis? Bill Gates and George Soros. And also Tony Fauci owns like a 3% share within Novartis AG. Yes, the same Tony Fauci who is on President Trump's COVID-19 task force.
Hopefully not for long.
Oh my God. And I'm going to write to President, you got to get rid of this guy. I know you're trying to keep him close in order to keep your enemies closer. He's got to go. Tony Fauci's got to go. So that is.
He got to go. He got to go.
He's got to go. COVID-19 China's UNAM strengthened. Ooh, this was some powerful information tonight.
Well, Bishop, loved all this. I'm gonna have to re-listen to this about 2 times. I mean, I've been making notes throughout this. There's a lot for me to deep dive into, and I look forward to it. Hey, man, I love having you on. Yeah, you are great. And like I said before, you have an open door policy here at the Roadhouse Podcast. We love your knowledge. We love your truth speak. And it's time for the birth certificates, the cattle. It's time for you guys to wake up and get your souls back.
Yes, and President Trump is trying to break us away from the Vatican system. That's why they want to kill him, but no weapon is formed against him shall prosper. Thank you so much, brother. And to your listeners, if they want to give into Global Spiritual Revolution Radio, go to paypal.me/GSRR Media Group. Type in paypal.me/GSRR Media Group. I know times are tough right now because of lockdown. Whatever you guys can give would be so appreciative as we are on such a global level now. And I'll be on the Board the War radio show tomorrow night at 7 p.m. And I'm booked with radio engagements from all over the world. So pray for the bishop. And I'm coming back on next month if you guys will have me. Absolutely.
We got you. Sounds good. Sounds good. Thank you, Bishop. Stay safe out there. And we look forward to speaking with you again.
Thank you, my friend. We see you, God willing, on next month on the Roadhouse and on the Roadhouse Podcast. Thank you so much.
Yep. Have a good night, Bishop.
You too. God bless you all.
God bless.
I just know it's more than 3 times, so let's go. how many times I've been here. I just know it's more than 3 times. So let's go.